Hi there, Mike Dyer with Talent Management. Thanks for coming back for our third installment in our series of how to lead during uncertain times. As you'll notice, we're going to jump back into the third and final element as described by Patrick Lencioni in his webinar. We'll then be joined by Kimberly Sims and Sean McKinniss, and they're going to talk to us about what this looks like in their everyday and professional lives. We'd love to hear from you. If you haven't shared already, feel free to leave a few comments below, either about what you think about today's content or about one of the other two elements that we've discussed previously.
So I got exceedingly human, being persistent, and transparency, I feel is part of that. What is the third one that you had in that?
It's be creative, do things that you've never done before. And you know, it's so crazy that this sounds so simple, but don't be afraid to look silly at times. You know, and let me tell you what I mean by that. So like, I mean, this is a silly example, but again, and it's natural for us to, but just talk to your people about things that you don't normally talk to them about. We get on our calls. So we've changed, by the way, within the guise of persistence, we have decided we're going to meet every other day as an entire company, and then we're going to meet every single day as in our smaller groups. And so let's just say we meet for an hour. The first 35 minutes of that are probably spent just checking in with people and telling stories about our kids and what's going on and how we're dealing with things. And it's really tempting for me as a leader to sit here and go, oh no, we got to get on to the agenda. We got to get on to work getting done. Nobody is sitting there, and it's just so tempting to be professional. And this is a time to be wisely unprofessional and to be effective but not efficient. If we think that this is a time to use our time efficiently, we're probably going to miss the human part of that. So be creative. We go around, we talk about what movies you're watching, what games you're watching. My wife had a bunch of games in our closet, and so we gave them out to a bunch of our employees. They stopped by the house and picked them up on the front porch. And so we're talking about all kinds of interesting things, what our kids are doing, how we're dealing with toilet paper shortages and all those other things. And this is the time to be creative. So be exceedingly human, be persistent, be creative. And I think your people will appreciate that, even if at times you feel a little bit odd.
Now, I think that's, and talking about just being creative, I think like we're trying to do like 10 minutes prior to this, we're trying to figure out how are we going to be live with all the extension. You're literally on your son's laptop right now getting things done. And this is just real life.
Right. My college son is definitely in bed and will be for the next few hours. And so we had to go steal his computer from him and make sure that I could support this. And that's, my wife is down here in her pajamas, and I look like I'm all ready, but I didn't get to bed till really late. And so it's a crazy time, and embrace that craziness, and good things will come from it.
So as we just heard, the third element in our series of leading during uncertain times is the idea of being creative. And we add this to the mix with being exceptionally human and being persistent to help us think a little bit differently about how we build trust amongst our teams as we navigate our new remote and online workspaces. Joining me today is Kimberly Sims and Sean McKinniss, both with the talent management team. And we have a few questions that we wanted to talk through with you. But Sean and Kimberly, one of the things that really stuck out to me from the webinar was this idea of being silly. And the three of us work on a team pretty closely. And I think that you would each agree with me when I say that I can be pretty formal in the office. And that my natural work style doesn't have a lot, while I can be funny, I'm not naturally silly or overly sharing kind of about who I am as a human. And so something that this series, but in particularly this element, has really challenged me on is how do I creatively show a bit more of who I am as a person to help continue to build, you know, an interpersonal relationship with the two of you, but also the rest of the team. And so with that in mind, I was hoping that the two of you could talk to us about how you've built space within meetings, within emails, to help people around you be, you know, a bit of a person and to check on each other as people, and what tools you're using to do that.
Thanks, Mike. So interestingly enough, the development team, our development partners, we actually have what we would consider kind of a virtual water cooler or coffee break in the morning. So at 8:30, all of us have committed to, if our schedule permits, have committed to just coming together for 15 minutes to share stories about our home life, how we're navigating this whole situation with working virtually at this time. Even down to what we had for dinner last night. So we're sharing recipes, we're sharing exercise, techniques, what we've been reading, but it's really a personal. It's not anything work related, and we committed to 15 minutes of really digging in and getting to know each other better. And it sometimes gets a little silly with laughter, but it's all in fun, and we're having our moment and just translating it to a virtual experience.
Yeah, good. Sean, do you have any thoughts on this area?
When we see each other in our homes and with families or pets, or we hear about what we're doing each day and in a pretty confined capacity, I think everybody feels connected and feels motivated to keep doing their best and working together in ways I don't think they imagined. For me, it's been fun to, with our Wired group, for instance, to check in with them weekly and sometimes more so. I'll get a text about something like Tiger King, that somebody's watching that, or somebody will share a funny memory from the last few months, and just really keeping a casual connection. I think we all do that back in the office, but this time it's just different. And I think to keep doing that, to keep sharing ourselves and who we are, has really made a big difference, both with our team and then, of course, with the people in the Wire group who report to me.
Yeah, good. Good, that's great. And I think learning how to use email in a bit of a different way to manage tone, or to think differently about tone, has been helpful. But I love that you guys are using some of the virtual connection tools. Think about WebEx in particular to help you, see each other and maintain that connection. I think it's very helpful as we continue to manage our team dynamic. So I'm curious, one of the ideas that Patrick threw out there was this idea of being wisely unprofessional. I'm curious, Sean, Kimberly, do you have any thoughts on what that looks like, or what that has looked like for you? Or maybe you'll do some things a little bit differently after thinking about, how do you be a bit more wisely unprofessional? Kimberly, you want to take it away?
Yeah, so being widely unprofessional is definitely outside of my comfort zone. I'm even kind of not widely unprofessional right now, so I'm going to try and loosen up. Yeah, it's really, when I heard that phrase, I thought, Kimberly, be your authentic self, right? You can be professional and authentic, but you can also just share a little bit about who you are as we're going through this very unprecedented time. Opening your home, talking about experiences. One of the things that came to mind is that while we're in the physical workspace, we try to capture moments with employees or coworkers. But right now, we're incorporating those moments. It is a part of our meetings. It's a part of our interactions. It's a part of our emails. Those moments are coming through strong. So if that's being widely unprofessional, I'm going to take that every day. Where we don't have to make those moments happen. They're just already incorporated in our communication, and it's effective. It's not that it's losing its effectiveness. I think we're getting stronger. As Sean had mentioned, I feel a little bit closer to the team. Even we're sitting within 6 feet apart or 10 feet apart. We're definitely dialed in, and we're working together strategically through projects, and added with a little bit more of that authentic human side. So yeah, we're incorporating moments now.
Good. Thanks for sharing. Sean, anything that you'd add to that idea?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's been very hard to adapt to being myself remotely. I mean, I think I am at the office generally, but for instance, I've been doing these videos that we've been putting out on WeNet where I'm out in my yard taping myself. That's kind of weird for me, but my humor that I hope I have, I try to reflect in there a little bit. I've put my daughters in one of those clips just to try to, show people that I can relate, and I am relating to what's going on right now across the whole company and across, for everybody. But I think what that's done for me, just to use an example, in addition to what we just talked about earlier about, being silly, being our real selves, I think has helped me feel better from working at home. And I'm excited that when we're back together, I think I've shed a layer of, um, I don't want to say standoffishness, but maybe a reserved part of me that I probably would never have shown but for this experience we're all having.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. I think that kind of for me, that the key takeaway from all of the conversations that we've had in relation to this webinar is the idea that we're all humans, we're all people, and by nature, we all crave connection with other humans. And so now we've had to figure out ways to translate what that connection looks like in a virtual workspace. And as we continue to build connection or recreate connections virtually, that's allowed us to continue to grow in our ability to trust each other, and in turn, to really do some things a bit differently as we work through, a time when a lot of us don't have that crystal clear ball about what's coming down the road. And so with all that being said, Sean and Kimberly, thank you for your time. We would love to hear from you. Key takeaways, if you'd like to drop those in the comments or shoot one of us an email just to tell us a little bit more about what some key takeaways from this series were and how you're applying those in your space, that would be great. We hope that you all have a great afternoon, and definitely take some time to look through Talent Track and keep an eye on the various learning opportunities that are coming ahead.